Welcome to Grizzly Team headquarters here in Pocatello. Big time win for the squad last night, bouncing back and getting ready for a sweep over Idaho State, hopefully on Saturday. We are going to segue now and talk with the star from last night's game and freshman Josh Bannan. Third double-double of your freshman career. But Josh, before we get to any of that, the more important news, it's your 20th birthday. So first off, happy birthday from everyone in Griz Nation.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
What's it been like? I guess you said you celebrated 2 birthdays. Was it more yesterday? Everyone needs to know it's about an 18-hour time difference for Josh from back home to here. So what was it like yesterday? Did you get texted? Did it feel like your birthday yesterday or more so today?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I suppose I was probably really 20 yesterday for Australian time. That's 20 years of life, but the time zone makes it a bit different. I kind of got lucky having 2 birthdays.
No doubt about it. Did it give you extra motivation maybe going in? Did you get a couple happy birthday texts before you took the floor last night?
I've always tended to play well on my birthday. I had a game when I was younger and probably had one of the best games of my life. It's always treated me well.
Well, you'll remember last night for sure. Third double-double of your Grizzly career. The other 2 came in December against Washington and Dickinson State. You started off hot early, Josh, and I think that Nick and I looked at each other the first couple possessions. You were aggressive. You went right to the rim. What was the mindset maybe coming into the game as far as the aggressiveness and just taking it to him a little bit early for you?
Yeah, I think I've just been starting to get in a bit more of a groove offensively, making a few more shots, and I just wanted to keep that up. I've just been trying to get better every game. And I just felt confident. The coaches have put a lot of confidence in me, so it's easy.
Your journey this year has been fun to watch, and really, it's been a great freshman season when you talk about everything in between. Last night, again, the double-double over your last 3 games. You're averaging a double-double, 5 straight in double figures. So I guess you talk about the offensive improvement, but just the last 3 weeks, what's the feel been like as you finally got in a rhythm and played up to your high standards?
Yeah, it's been great. Obviously, it's a journey. There's been at the start of the year, I had a few good games early on, and I thought it was going to be all like that, but there was obviously that downturn. But now I feel like I'm starting to get back into it. Pretty happy with the way I'm playing at the moment.
And your coaches speak so highly of the work that you put in. We'll get to that in a second. But let's go through the tough adversity times where that you did go off the bench for a couple of games and took a better perspective maybe of the game in general. Just take me through maybe the tough 2 to 3 week stretch and maybe what you learned about yourself.
Yeah, it definitely gave me a chance to sort of look at myself. In that sort of time, I started to realize I was probably being a bit selfish as an individual, focusing too much on myself and my performances and not buying into the team. And I think as I started to do that individually, it helped me a lot. And I bought into the team, and it's been up from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about a vocal role. We can see it as well. You've taken on more of a vocal leadership role and everything that's happened in the last couple of weeks. How much did you just take that upon yourself? Has it always been in your DNA to be one of those leaders on and off the floor? Because it's certainly visible now.
Yeah, I think naturally, I've got a pretty loud voice. I'm a vocal person, and I'm really passionate and super competitive. So I think it just comes out. I'm just trying to do anything I can to help us win.
And talk about the grind in the practice courts and everything in between with Coach Payne and the other coaches. They talk about the extra time that you've put in. And I remember the vivid scene after Northern Colorado in game 1 where you came back out on the floor to take more extra shots. Then it turns out you have the game-winning shot game 2. But just talk about the extra work that you put in and maybe how hard you are on yourself, critical in a sense of what you need to improve your game.
Yeah, I think just the places I've been at, the Institute in Australia, that gave me a great chance to learn what professional athletes and high-level college basketball, how that looks, the work you need to put in off the court. And I think just with the goals I have for myself, that's how it needs to be. So I just continue to do that every day and trust the process that I'll continue to get better.
And coming over here the last couple of months, I can't believe all the things maybe that have popped up, and just being here for the first time. Is there maybe a game that stands out highlight-wise? USC, the opener. Washington, you have a double-double, and the team picks up their biggest win in a couple of years against a Pac-12 opponent, or more in conference play here the last couple of weeks. Is there one that does stand out as we put you on the spot here on your birthday?
There's games that stand out for different reasons. Southern Utah, the first game stood out just to me. It's just a shock what conference play really is like, how competitive it is. And I wasn't ready for that. That's kind of slapped me across the face. And then another game, Washington, was awesome. Like getting a win over a Pac-12 opponent, it just meant so much to all of us. and we came together, bonded as a team, and nothing mattered but winning.
Talking with Josh Bannan, the birthday boy, his 20th birthday here, had a double-double last night on the Inside the Den podcast and here on the GoGriz.com social media platforms. And Josh, you mentioned your first tour through the Big Sky Conference, and that first game against Southern Utah, it seemed like ages ago, now in December, and now you're almost at the end of it. What is your thoughts maybe on the conference in general? And I know you haven't seen every other Big Sky Conference school on the road with this weird schedule, but just your thoughts on your first tour through the league.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been new. Obviously something that's your freshman year. You got to adjust, you got to learn, and I think this has been a great chance to do that. And I feel now I've matured a lot, and I'm coming along, playing a lot more confident. It's been good. It's been great fun.
And coming over here, the adjustment, we've talked about this a lot, and I think now you have better perspective on it, right? You put in over 20 games in your freshman year. The main adjustments that you saw from the Australian game to over here in the U.S., and then also maybe the surprise. Was there a surprise the last couple of months for you?
I think there was something I actually spoke about with a coach from back home who I'm really close with, and we Australian coaches always talk about the adjustment when you go play college basketball as a freshman. And I was young and naive. I thought, that won't affect me. It won't happen. But there's just something like I can't identify why it is. But you just see it seems to happen to all of us. You have a sort of a rough patch in there, but I feel like now it's sort of coming along.
I would say that's an understatement. Again, Josh averaging a double-double over his last 3 games. And your home support back in Australia, I mean, the time difference is wild. Take us through kind of what time it is for your friends and family back home and how often they can watch you and follow along and the communication back and forth this year.
Yeah, my friends and family try and watch as much as they can. The Thursday games, it's a bit easier. The game's normally in the afternoon. The Saturday morning games, it'd be about 6 a.m. back home, so that's a tough one. But Mum, Dad, and my sister are always up, and they're always supporting me, so I'm really grateful for that, and I appreciate having them.
And we can't wait for the rest of your career where they can come see you in person in Missoula as well, and you can show them around. Let's go back to your recruitment now, to Montana. I think I overheard a story that was pretty comical when you first heard from Montana. I'm not sure you knew where it was at or maybe even the spelling of the state. Take me kind of through just what you remember from the very beginning of all of this and how you found out about the University of Montana.
Yeah, I remember I first heard from Coach Cobb mid-2018, and I was young. It was one of the first schools I heard from. And yeah, I'd never heard of Montana, the place at all. I didn't know much about America, and I used to spell Montana wrong. But over time I sort of grew to get to know Coach Cobb and a few of the other coaches and develop great relationships with them.
Well, that is an understatement. We're so happy to have you here at the University of Montana. I know you haven't really gotten to experience it too much, but what's it been like living in America and living in Missoula? Does anything stand out? I know you guys haven't been able to do so much, and hopefully that can change soon, but what stands out from the off-the-court experience so far?
Yeah, it's definitely different. I've been lucky living with the other freshmen. We all get along well. That's great fun. But just obviously the immediate things, like it's a lot colder here. That's a big one. But like honestly, one of the things about Missoula is you sort of look around sometimes, you just forget how picturesque it is around you. The mountains around you. That was one of the things that I noticed on my visit. It's just a very, very beautiful place.
And take me through what it's like back home. What's your climate like at home? I think it's summertime right now, if I'm not mistaken, below the equator. I think I learned that back in 6th grade or something like that. But regardless, what's it like back home? And I guess the main things you miss from back home. That's a valid question too.
There's definitely some things I miss. Definitely being home with the family is a big one. Mum and Dad's cooking, definitely miss that. It's just being around my friends. It was a bit. I was like from a big city, so that's a bit of a different lifestyle. But I've really enjoyed it here.
Talking with Josh Bannan as we wind down on this one. Josh, I know you're a big college basketball fan here, so take me through how much you watched college basketball maybe back in Australia, and now even more so in the States when you don't have much other things you can do other than watch basketball when you're not playing basketball.
Yeah, I used to watch a little bit, just the big schools is all we really get in Australia, and I've always preferred watching college basketball to the NBA, and then since I've got here, I'm lucky we get all the cable TV, so you get a heap of games on every night. So I'll flick around and watch a bit of that when I can.
So you say a heap of games, and I've heard you obviously say mate a couple times as well. What are the biggest differences from the speech barrier, maybe, where there's things Americans say and you go, what? What is that? Is there a couple things that stand out there, Josh?
It's that is rough. You know, you go to Subway, ordering's always difficult. And sometimes we'll be driving through to a restaurant or something, and I'll just get Rob or Brandon to order for me because it's just too difficult. I get too many. What was that? And I can't. Yeah.
That's what teammates are for, though. We love that. No doubt about it. Okay, big question: Gonzaga or Baylor? Who's better?
That's a tough one. I guess time will tell, but I like Gonzaga.
Okay, that's good. That's a diplomatic answer, but I think I would agree with you on this one. Final question for you. You've obviously emerged here as a freshman leader. You're playing great. The team seems to be on the same page at the right time of the year, hopefully going on a run here to Boise. What's your take on where this team is at right now and the motivation to finish strong to have a chance in Boise?
Yeah, look, we just got to continue to get better every day. That's I like all the guys were around. We all get along well. We've got a great group here, young guys. And I think as the year's gone on, we've continued to get better, and we'll continue to do that in this next couple of weeks. And then the expectations going in for these next few games in the tournament is just leave it all out there and see what happens. But we're confident going forward.
The future is bright, and a big piece of that is this guy right here in freshman Josh Bannan. Thank you so much for sitting down with us. Congrats on the good freshman season so far, and we can't wait to watch the last couple of weeks.
Thanks for having me.